They're a bit special.
Is this your first cast of the split?
For Korea, yes. I've done some other ones, but this is my Korean.
Looking at WEBL going for a bit of pace. They're inside the site. Nobody else is. They miss the moment of them swinging in. The covers come across the smoke. They're sprayed through the soft, and Temmie gets removal. Naps gets the opener. And we're about to have a post plant quite early. Islet does some damage. There's air jabs fired everywhere. Baguette gets a kill over the top. Naps goes down. It's a 4 versus 2. Baguette has taken some damage, and they weren't able to actually confirm the kit. So, just a reaction here in time any longer. However, it takes about 20 seconds out, 25 seconds out of the push. They're trying to focus. In the meantime, Temmie's locking down the top floor as well. Gets another lean.
Yeah, that may be enough time wasted here, Emmy. As not only has there been 2 players now advantage for BNA, but there's just not a lot of map control to work with for WEBL here. Having a look. Coop might be able to find one. Ran in the corner, knows there's a player tucked here in office. Doesn't know which corner. Does win the fight. Fortunately, to double down would be...
A couple of kills so far. There's people not too far away from them. This is what I meant about the free cam. You can sort of get the idea. Like, Supreme's looking up for the angle. Islet's looking up as well. Naps does find Supreme from top to bottom. And here's the moment the Mozzie might strike. They've got to stay still.
Oh, no!
The distraction!
Wow.
With
that, yeah, very rough. With that 3-player lead now, 2-player lead for the attacking side. This is the best chance WEBL have had to get into the game. But as we can hear, Islet with that DMR still ringing out. Outside the main door, Inno is waiting. J1 is in a great position to capitalize on any early mistake, but this should get traded now, and the E1D is going to lock J1 in place. They know that he is still in supply, and so they can push into the site and start to force this diffuser down. With 20 seconds left to go, on J1 to make a miracle happen here. 3 players, but Ran is holding the perfect angle. There really is no world in which the Legion should win this fight. Nice.
Operate onto the back of the swing, goes right into it though, but still wins it out!
Damn. Yeah, wow. And with that, I mean, the attack have really got to salvage this round because this is not what they were looking for. J1 has now finished off Ran, and it is getting very, very difficult for WEBL to come back from this deficit. Baguette is still in Fountain and just waiting patiently. 2 players on WEBL, low HP. Admittedly, the same can be said for BNA, as Baguette does go down, but the C4 is not going to make this easier. The Ram will enable some vertical play, but of course the bomb site being Tellers and Bathroom does leave so many opportunities here for BNA to like play on site in safe corners or play around off site and retake. It's just not great for WEBL looking forward here.
I think it was the sort of preparation there of BNA. They guessed where the approach was coming from. They had a lot of bodies stacked up on those 2 individual rooms. And think about what WEBL attempted was just, let's force it. Let's send a few more bodies into Armory. Let's just swing around the sort of core of the stack and angle towards Fountain. And if you put things into that situation, it can be pulled apart by a prep defense. We've had 2 C4 kills this round itself. Of the 3 that have been lobbed, we've had people drop through soft walls. There's at least punished mistake, but with 20 seconds, 3 players, and nowhere near the pressure onto the site, you're a little bit curious how this one has sort of fallen so apart in the opposite corner.
I think that you really got to point to the Valkyrie and Mozzie combo. Now, we can see that Mozzie doesn't actually have any active drones in pocket or in the field, but of course Valkyrie's ready to capitalize on any opening. Now, there is an opening, specifically the Armory breach. Unfortunately, without CCTV control, it's very hard to capitalize here. TJ does find the lone player in Armory. Now it's a 2 versus 4, 1 versus 4. This would need to be an ace. There's the second. Still the diffuser, cold on the ground and caught in a crossfire. J1 goes down and out, 3 kills. Surely the 1v4 dream is not possible. Like I said, this would need to be an ace. Coming into this round, TJ did not have a single kill. And now, looking for an opportunity to plant. The Solus will be able to call this out, but that floor is solid and there is no opportunity to deny.
BNA, please don't mess this up. TJ gets the plant off, gets himself rotated out as well. He's got 2 isolated fights. They might try and bait the defuse and then go for the swing on the back of the player. They've got the move round. They don't know. Oh, they've got their back to him. Supreme's
He's gonna win this.
They've lined up perfectly.
No,
he can't go.
Finish that and find the opening kill, because that is what constantly eludes them.
TJ, the man of the moment. Has he been spiced up? 6 in a row. Got another kill. There goes Coop. In the meantime, you'll lose those, at least 2 of the grenades from underneath. K1 raised through. Timmy finds Ran. Same time, but TJ still continuing the terrorizing of his opponents. So far, 7 kills over 2 rounds for the Ash.
From the player outside the armory balcony that still manages to persist. There's a lot of 1v1s happening here, Emmy, but if WEBL's able to continue to deliver them, then BNA will likely lose this round, and the half will be tied up at the scoreline. TJ, as you said, the player of the moment now with 1 last kill to find.
You can hear the break coming against the site. TJ's just holding off on the rotate. They're droning out, trying to find the player that's tucked into Fountain. Well, they found them.
There's the noise, and that's going to give an opportunity for TJ to peek.
Well, there rolls the flashes. They have the blind on the player, and they knew exactly where they were. They spray through to see if they can get out, because it is a long, narrow run that they escaped from. There was a player getting into position. The next swing just pops open.
No.
And that is a clean take onto TJ. Naps. He gets a heavy head hit all the way to the back line. 20 seconds. This is a great gun for exactly this purpose. He just needs to time the swings right. There's another player that's sort of dabbling with the dance. There's the pops. There's a second take, a 1 versus 1. But only 10 seconds to try and get this plant down. Didn't want to go for the rotate. J1's going for the fight.
No.
There they are. They're off on the run. They've pulled themselves round. They're looking for it down.
No!
Because arguably they don't entirely want to stick around up there. They want to play this position instead. And well, Supreme's able to get TJ on the back of it.
Does always seem to be Supreme who finds these openers, doesn't it? But
oh yeah,
somehow he's managed to stay alive.
Well, they had the 2-body advantage last time, and then it got picked away from them. There's a 3-body. They're going for the plant itself. They're back on the site. There's a player inside the site too that Coop just doesn't.
Oh no!
You know, a bit too locked into the fight ahead of him.
Out of most of her utilities, so she's got 1 each of a concussion and an explosive. But I don't think that BNA have a lot of tools to really open up avenues here. They need to start brute forcing this and winning some 1s. And unfortunately, Naps is already starting to dispel any thoughts that that was achievable for BNA.
Attackers recovered the bomb diffuser.
Slowed BNA a bit here. They're taking themselves, you know, I'm going to say more tentatively as they progress across the office. There is still the Solace chance underneath. Supreme's going to see if they can bite and fight on the back end. It's TJ. Is the one that's going to see if they can try and get the counter on any plant that goes forward, and it's a perfect place for them to play. This shotgun might prove a bit of a problem. J1 even, sorry. Pre-fires towards the fight, sort of makes the statement, we know where you are, but, I mean, you heard the cover come across as well.
Yeah, don't think this one's going to work out, Emmy. Supreme has been massive, but it's going to take a huge clutch to make this achievable. Now, this is possible. The plant has to go down on a hard surface. Oh, but no, it's not going down on the hard surface, and therefore
big difference maker. And raw talent unguided, maybe. But the swing they're in, the single player, Supreme has gone to the back of that. There's at least a pick back up at the same second. Baguette spraying towards another fight. No. TJ's able to get one. The C4 underneath. It doesn't matter how many bullets that gun has if you can't make them connect.
Well, fortunately, TJ was actually taken out by a different attacker by the end of it. But, of course, you can clearly see that BNA have lost the exchange here, right? 2 players for 3. And as a result, they can get the main hatch open. But there's a lot of work to be done to start to shape up for a plant. And a plant is not really going to be possible in a 2-on-3. They really need to find a pick here. There are breaching charges on the Thatcher, and so using them to get some vert on these positions is the next step for BNA.
Another C4 kill, another pop and bit of destruction. What can Isla do here? They're trying to find a catch. I mean, at this point, this site as well, it's so tricky. All three players are down underneath.
Got to drop
Hatch
it, right?
drop. Yeah, they're gonna get caught here, surely. The flash onto the player inside the cubicle. Naps just needs to swing.
Would have been massive! Come
Ran
on,
is-
win the one!
Oh,
You got
going-
this!
Oh!
Win it! Yes! Woo! Let's go, Ran!
The
I'm
player
telling you,
was-
it's the comeback, Emmy. It's the comeback.
I mean, they're on the drone the whole time. They've lost 2 players now. I think that was the Jackal that got...
Supreme's still alive. Anything is possible, but you know, is in a very advanced position. Spots Supreme, takes him down. The immediate trade, that's good use of the vert from Temmie.
Attackers have dropped the
But it
bomb.
might not be enough, and unfortunately, it is just Temmie now. Fortunately, being the IQ, it's been possible to clear out a lot of those Valkyrie cameras, give the advantage back to BNA, deny information, but of course, advantage now squarely sits with WEBL, as all they have to do is wait.
Diffuser.
Temmie must find 2 1v1s and/or force this diffuser down. TJ just on the other side of this bomb with the shotgun at the ready. Temmie does not seem aware, and it is far too late now to go to C4. I don't know how that came out of nowhere, Emmy, but it apparently landed, and that is exactly what Coop needed to do. You already mentioned it, but the Yokai has now been taken out, and in this 4v4, it's going to come down to the retake and the over-aggression from WEBL. J1 has been able to punish Naps, but the plant has once again been denied.
That was TJ from underneath. They opened up the angle. They're looking for another fight from it. They know that they're planting. It's the swing round that comes against it. 17 seconds here, WEBL. They just have to hold on. In the 2 versus 2, we've seen 3 players pick up and try and plant that diffuser. 3 players have died on the back of it. It is TJ once again. He's hopped up. He's going for the spray. He can't make the connection.
Attackers are activating.
They found the one pocket that he cannot quite see. A 2
Taking out the
versus...
90 flank drone. And there is a chance here to bring back the numbers to BNA's side. However, TJ has snuck back in, doubled back through CCTV, and found a second kill. There is, I believe, a drone on top of the television. Thank you very much to our observer for highlighting that. TJ, funnily enough, actually traded. The 2 best players in the server are now both dead, taking each other out of the game. But with that all said and done, WEBL has a 2-player advantage and plenty of utility to make this execute happen.
And a blitz. They still have a blitz. And a shield in any low player count environment is rocky. One where you have an advantage is even worse because you don't even have to try and use it for kills. You can just use it for pressure. They almost connect the kill on the back there. There's, you know, not an immediate response. They go back to the same position, and Temmie gets torn up. It is
All right,
just...
Ran, this is your moment.
Yep. 1 player left. Hello.
Oh, no. No! Not again, Emmy. Do not let this happen again. WEBL, you've clutched up twice. And now it's BNA's turn. It's Islet's turn to take
I
them.
mean, you can't say they haven't put the fight in here for BNA. You can't say they haven't been the drive. TJ is driving himself towards a fight. Popped up in the middle of the chairs, but it's Naps that has the cover on that. There's Supreme, though, still putting more of a bite in. Temmie's going for the cover. The plant was
what?
attempted for a second, but Ran suddenly gets a double kill. And now they don't feel safe about the plant. If Isla had stuck that, it would have been a post plant. And I'm not sure what's happening.
Well, it looks like at the moment the 3 defenders are just biding their time. They're looking to play retake. They're the ones with the match point. TJ has perfectly evaded Temmie, who's still hiding in CCTV, looking for this kill. Islet has to go for the plant, and Temmie falls off, looking to cover, but he can't cover both the door and the rotate hole.
What do you call that? And those two come together and they argue for a few days as to what the proper call is. And then it ends up as a Twitter poll.
Now
And
falling
yeah,
back into electrical. The execute is very much imminent here, as the Glaz has dispatched with his first or second smoke. And now another pick for Ran, as it's all gone to the toilet for BNA. How are they going to try and bring this back? 2 versus 5. I just don't see this one working at all.
they have the crossfire on the door, but they've slunk their way into the other side of the site. Temmie could try and C4, but as soon as they can pull away from WEBL before they go for the
hello?
pullback. Oh, what are you doing?
Bruh! What am I watching? How? Oh, and TJ walks straight into a cap can trap after getting a little bit scared by the presence of that Mozzie. It's so strange. That's such a normal position to play for the Mozzie, and the Buck was just not cautious enough. Here we go, though. The attack might be able to bring it back if WEBL can find a few more of those. The roam game has been won by the defense, and there will not be a map clear.
We'll talk about what happened before in a minute. Let's talk about the execute. Supreme is the long range, but gets slapped out of it. Coop's able to slink their way in. There's a bit of hard cover. You can go on the left. You have to keep the watch onto Exo door, or that happens. There they are, and this is the hop-up that they want. Just misses the fight, but they're going to see if they can try and smoke them out and force the fight. Very good throw there. Coop has to pull back. They're torn up by Temmie. That tell. TJ's making his way towards the top. They have the single player. Well, there's one less.
Yeah, now a drone. Surely J1 loses this. That's unfortunate. That gunfight could have turned the round on its head, but unfortunately for BNA, they're going to have to rely on some desperate heroics now. On the flank is Islet, but he is unfortunately barricaded off. He's going to try and sneak his way through. He can actually crouch through this without making a noise, but of course it's a 1 versus 5, and he is going the wrong way, and his phone is ringing. This simply is not going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, they are exploding around the site and around the player.
And it's likely not safe to plant an exothermic, especially while low HP. Here comes a smoke, and that may well enable it.
There's a bit of pressure, a bit of bite stun to all the attackers. They're able to hold on for now, and a single piece taken from either side. But as they slink their way close to the site, it's the 40 seconds. Look how many of them are stacked on this single engagement. Isn't it just lying on the floor, hoping to arc this C4 in the right place? It goes through on the wall. It doesn't get the angle. They are full sending it onto the watch out here. If WEBL rotate the kit, they can get a plant. Instead, they just charge their way through and get torn up by breakdancing Islet. There's the pickup from Supreme onto one more. It is a bloodbath. And now it's a 1 versus 2. All because WEBL tried to force a fight, and I mean, little mistakes and little moments there. They weren't quite going for the full watch. It takes an extra couple of seconds to ensure that pops off. The spray's coming around. Supreme goes down to Coop. There's a player on the swing on the left, and Baguette swaps guns. The worst possible time. It's a technical 1 versus everybody here, as Coop is the only one standing. He has 4 seconds. He can't get the pickup. He suffers a scrape of a single shot around the corner. Temmie and J1 just have to close down, but they'll do it.
Speaking of calls, here comes the Dokkaebi. Oh, here's an opportunity for TJ. No way! You can't be whiffing that. There's a chance here that Islet is able to get away. Oh, what an embarrassment for TJ. But WEBL may be able to salvage it. The plant is going down under the window. The jump out was ill-advised, as Islet has been able to take down Inno. Numbers advantage for BNA here in the final round of the half. But WEBL, of course, only have to cover in the post-plant. A great position for Coop. Doesn't have to overpeak, but Supreme, of course, goes down to Naps. And now this is a nigh impossible task for poor J1 and Islet. J1 taken extremely low and finished off by Naps. It's all done, surely. 15 seconds on the clock. Islet would need to find 3 picks and the diffuser. And he's playing a bit of a game of ring around the rosy. There's no chance to win it now. There's a final kill just to pad the stats. Getting a breach is a nice step, but of course it's not everything. Here comes Supreme, though. Supreme has been so good on the entry in the first map, but struggling here in the second. 2 and 6 at the moment. With the first 2 picks already being to the way of the defense, this is a very big challenge for the attack.
We get on an LMG again. Not Zofia this time. They said they played Zofia a lot and didn't really get any use of it, so instead they moved on to Finka LMG. And, well, as Ran... I mean, they're doing their best to hold on to Pillar, but, you know, there's a lot of time here, and you're sort of looking at the remaining BNA players and going, okay, well, what's the plan B here? Removing utility, blinded on the sense wall there, so they can slip their way through with a bit of audio, gets the cover on a new position, hopes to find the fight elsewhere, ducks in, but gets dropped by the lying down player. The plant is still being connected. Islet gets caught, though! The rotate comes through. It's 4 versus 2. WEBL still have that man advantage. Baguette gets knocked off as well, leaving just a Thatcher watching a room on fire and all of their teammates caught inside of it. They went for the rush. They went for the plant behind the sense wall. There's one more gifted to Temmie. But with no real other ideas on the back of this, he's just trying to fish for fights. TJ's pulled himself back. Of anyone that might be around the kitchen. Hey, nobody's here, but they have that angle around on the back and at least a little bit of a watch. TJ goes for the swing, gets caught out there. Another player drops. It is only Coop left as the plant is going around on his left shoulder. Judd,
The
there it is.
refrag attempt from TJ, but not quite quickly enough.
Yeah, Baguette wasn't entirely sure of any of the fights that are coming his way. Survives the second take. They've got control here at the top of Aqua, and they're going to try and slink their way into the back end of CC. The first time we've seen the team go for what is a solid take, but then they lose out. They had that fight with the player, and then they just sort of lost the follow-through there. Supreme is now a bit isolated, but they're more than happy to take fights. However, TJ has left. The Fenrir gadget is causing a bit of a stun and a slow round with the C4 is ready to rip and tear, but there's a drone on the right, just keeping the keen eye on him. And you have to swing that.
Very unfortunate now for WEBL. BNA have a fantastic position, but TJ's come up for a flank from Garage. Immediately traded back, and J1 as well to jump into the fray. Coop in a 1 versus 3. He has an angle, watching the players entering site. Gets the down and the finish onto the Thatcher. Time is his ally. As BNA must reclaim that diffuser, now in Supreme's pocket and getting forced down onto the ground. Coop has to win this fight onto J1, and he does! The second kill must
A lot of angles to shepherd the players out of positions to be held, and that's sort of what leads Supreme ahead around the corner. Brilliant take off of the back of the ping there on where the player might have been. They've wrested control here of EXO, and as they tuck themselves in towards that side of the half and hoping nobody gets on the rotate on the back, they can start thinking about the plant here, which TJ is the man preventing.
This is the best chance any attacking side has had of taking this tank assembly bomb site today. BNA is right on the cusp of it, that plan being forced down. Coop from WEBL looking for the opportunity to throw this C4. He could well be swung. No, the C4 is a miss, and a crucial mistake for WEBL will surely lose them the round. Unless if these two players can perform a miracle. Supreme is low HP. Inno is just around the corner from him and caught on a camera, but Supreme is there for the swift
on the
headshot.
top floor to open this up. They realized that the vertical would come through, and you know, Nap said, let me take the risk. Let me see if I can slow it down. Them going and losing the fight isn't going to happen. They take Supreme. They're looking for the second as well, and the fact they're doing this with, what, 2 impacts. TJ's now to offer some support. 4 discs in pocket. It truly is this full send onto the gun game. J1 gets caught by cap cans. And things are starting to fall a little bit off here for BNA. Nap swings onto Baguette. At this point, you think that this is their round, right?
Yeah, it really surely should be. Finally the finish off onto J1. Fortunate victim of those Capcan traps, and it turns out the Capcan was the perfect pick here to enable this roam game. You can see Islet quite frustrated by them, finally taking down some of those Capcan traps. Took a second or two, but eventually finished them off. 2v4. Low HP on Naps, but also Islet is not full health. It looks like there's a rotate here to go for the breach. I just don't think this is going to work. Like, you're walking straight into a crossfire, even with your Thermite and Thatcher available. You're never going to make this work just by pushing the breach.
There's the holdout, and there's the holdout. Locked in, finds 2.
A lot of gunfights that they shouldn't even be given. If WEBL are smart, they will just pull back, maintain their man advantage. There's already a pre-placed C4. I'm not sure whether that was on the back of the default cam or based on an audio call, but it could well be already in. The tip of the spear is starting to make an impact, but is immediately denied, and Ran is taken down. Now, is there a chance to force down a plan? The diffuser hides in Coop's poor mittens as he falls to a C4. 2 players left. I can't believe it, Emmy. This
Now,
could
good
not...
fight.
Flank drone set up by Supreme. And progress made. J1 inside. IT already looking to get aggressive. This is really the only chance for BNA. They're at a numbers deficit. They have to try and make something work. But J1 is completely out of nays to flush out these key positions. It might not matter though. Supreme has found one. Coop has successfully tricked this garage wall. And TJ managed to frag back on Supreme. It's all gone down south for BNA. 3 versus 4. And no adequate way to get into the site.
No hard breach, no fight. They cannot get the swing on IT. It's just narrow doorways. There's players behind the pillars. 2 of them stacked up on that door. This is WEBL's to lose. They have all the angles and idea. There's a big separation between the remaining players. The Thatcher's trying to get some pressure onto Aqua, maybe draw a player away. They're hoping WEBL players lean into a fight and an engagement. They're sort of drawing as much focus as possible. That'll get caught out by another disc. The pillar player isn't swinging, so now the rotate comes around. Both of them on Aqua. If this gets called... I mean, there's a first take. There's a quick response. 20 seconds. They're able to get one more, a 2 versus 1. They know where the final player is. They have the hot pings. They have 13 seconds. An Impact, the Solis, TJ, and Ran, 2 players that have been fantastic throughout this map. They swing, they flash, they get...